famous people who disrespected hip-hop. Though hip-hop is now the most popular genre in American music today, it hasn't always been that way. The genre is relatively new in comparison to most musical genres, with its origin widely acknowledged as the early 1970s. For years, the art form has faced scrutiny and criticism from the general public, who often cited its subject matter as inappropriate: violence, gang activity, drug use, and misogyny. Most of these critics fail to examine how the music gave voice to a disenfranchised group of American citizens, who used hip-hop to reveal their reality and struggles of their community. Despite this, in time, hip-hop gained mainstream acceptance, and is now considered to be one of the most successful American music genres. Due to its relatively new status and the challenges it has faced, many hip-hop fans and artists are extremely protective over the art and its industry. As a result, those who ignorantly criticize the genre are often the target of widespread backlash. And while much of the criticism comes from outside of the hip-hop stratosphere, most stemmed from rappers themselves. Before we get started, make sure you like the video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now, here's 8 people who have disrespected hip-hop. Starting off at number 8, we have Lil Xan. Despite the fact that he's technically a rapper, Lil Xan is better known for his social media antics and controversies than he is for his music. Ironically, quite a few of the scandals that Lil Xan has found himself in stem from his seeming inability to respect the very genre of music that made him famous. Perhaps the most famous instance of this came from 2018, when Xan appeared on Revolt TV. While being asked to rate various rappers, he gave Tupac a rating of 2 out of 10 and said he made, quote, boring music. The remarks instantly stirred up controversy, including criticism from Waka Flocka Flame, who asserted that Xan should be banned from hip-hop. And rightfully so. Though many fans concealed that Xan should be entitled to his own opinion, they insisted that a dismissal of Pac's music as boring was insensitive to the plight of the black community, the main focus of Tupac's music career. Initially, Lil Xan tried to downplay the situation, stating that while he was not quitting music, he would stop doing interviews since he was routinely taken advantage of by the companies he interviewed with. Xan would later walk back the entire statement, saying that he appreciated Pac's music, even going so far as to perform a cover of California Love on stage at one of his own shows. I don't think anyone was asking for him to do that. Number 7, Ben Shapiro. The last time I checked, Ben Shapiro was a political commentator and had made exactly 0 albums. However, that didn't stop him from confidently weighing in on the state of hip-hop in 2019. During an interview on his show, The Ben Shapiro Show, Ben tried to convince his guest, indie rapper and podcast host Zuby, that rap wasn't, quote, actually a form of music.
And thus, it is basically effectively spoken rhythm. And so it's not actually a form of music, it's a form of rhythmic speaking. And thus, so beyond the subjectivity of me just not enjoying rap all that much, it's what I've said before is it's not music. So tell me why I'm wrong.
Shapiro's comments were weakly backed by his assertion that rap lacks melody and harmony, and only retained rhythm. He continued on to admit that he personally did not like the genre and found the subject matter to not be family-oriented. This isn't the first time that Shapiro has set his crosshairs on the genre. He had previously attacked all rap fans, labeling them as stupid in a tweet from 2012. Zuby does his best to politely defend the genre, citing the musical production and art form as the primary source of melody and harmony. But Shapiro insisted on doubling down on his criticism of the lyrical subject matter. The internet quickly took to dismantling Shapiro's statements. While the backlash continued, perhaps the most satisfying response of all came from hip-hop legend Ice-T himself, who simply retweeted a post mentioning Shapiro and added, "I have no clue who this is." Number 6, Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus was once known for her time on the Disney Channel show Hannah Montana, alongside her country star father Billy Ray Cyrus. However, when the show ended and Cyrus broke away from Disney, she became determined to shed her innocent image. In 2013, Cyrus began to become more active within the hip-hop community. She collaborated with a variety of rappers and producers, including Pharrell, Mike Will Made It, Snoop Dogg, and Wiz Khalifa. This led to the recording of her fourth studio album, Bangers. The album effectively rebranded Cyrus as a dirty South party girl, the album itself borrowing heavily from hip-hop as a whole, and also the trap music subgenre. Cyrus even raps a full verse on the track SMS. Despite the success of the album, Cyrus suddenly switched her tone in 2017, calling hip-hop lewd, and made reductive comments about the genre, claiming its vulgar content is what pushed her out of the scene. Fans and hip-hop artists alike criticized Cyrus for using hip-hop as a vehicle to distance herself from her childhood image, only to turn her back on it with racially insensitive comments. Cyrus responded to the criticism with a lengthy apology, acknowledging her privilege allowed her to dip in and out of the scene, and acknowledging that she had much learning to do about the long history of racial inequality in American history. In 2017, Cyrus returned to her punk rock roots with her album Younger Now, and does not appear to be returning to a hip-hop influenced sound, and I think that's something we can all be thankful for. Number 5, Lil Yachty. When Lil Yachty broke into the scene, his charm came from the fact that his music sounded so much different from classic hip-hop. Deemed bubblegum trap, Yachty's music evokes images of bright neon colors and cartoons, a far cry from the grittier realities of artists like Tupac and Biggie. However, the same thing that propelled Yachty to stardom has also proved troublesome for the rapper. In various interviews across his career, Lil Boat has been outspoken about his disinterest in classic hip-hop, a stance that has garnered much controversy. After an on-and-off feud with Ebro from Hot 97 over a freestyle gone wrong, Yachty became more vocal about his distaste for classic hip-hop, claiming that he couldn't name 5 songs from Tupac or Biggie. His dismissal of the genre's history quickly drew attention, including from his XXL freshman classmate Anderson .Paak. However, Yachty has doubled down on his stance, calling his haters old and washed up. But that didn't last very long, as he ended up apologizing for his prior statements. Number 4, Post Malone. Post Malone's breakthrough hit,
White Iverson,
gained him national attention. The track was originally posted to his SoundCloud in February of 2015. By August of that same year, Post was signed to major record label Republic Records. His debut album, Stoney, received generally positive reviews and performed well commercially. The album was praised for its genre-blending sound, infusing elements of country, folk, pop, and rock into a predominantly hip-hop soundscape. Though it was hard to call Post a traditional rapper, it was clear that his music sat firmly in the realm of hip-hop. And he wasn't shy about that. I mean, around this time he wore gold grills, and his music videos were very hip-hop aesthetic. So it came to a surprise to many when Post made some dismissive comments about hip-hop in an interview with Polish news outlet New Once. During this interview, Post commented that fans shouldn't look to hip-hop for real music, finishing off with, quote, "If you're looking to think about life, don't listen to hip-hop." The comments drew immediate backlash from fans, who bashed Malone for making derogatory comments about the same genre he used to catapult himself to fame. Post took to Twitter to offer an apology. During the video, he doubled down on some claims, insisting most people were not talking about real stuff in hip-hop, but asserting that he loved the genre and wanted to continue making hip-hop music. Despite the controversy, Post's career does not seem to have been negatively affected. In 2019, Spotify named him the most streamed artist in the world. And as he said in the video, he was intoxicated when he originally made that statement, so he wasn't thinking too clearly. At number 3, there's Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish became the face of alternative pop nearly overnight. Her sophomore album, When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, spawned hits such as Bad Guy and Zanny, gritty, moody songs that combine traditional pop, emo, and even elements of trap music. It's perhaps her occasional borrowing of rap and trap elements that caused backlash when Eilish accused rappers of lying in their songs. In early 2020, Eilish did a profile with Vogue magazine. During the interview, she admitted that her songs are never strictly autobiographical, but said she never outright lies in them. She contrasted her storytelling against the lies she claimed many rappers were making. This alone may not have been enough to land the 18-year-old star in hot water. I mean, even other rappers complain about the genre's problem with authenticity. But she continued on, citing rappers' claims about things such as AK-47s and the amount of girls they get as posturing. The remarks were taken by many to be a reductive view on hip-hop, boiling it down to only the most surface-level stereotypes frequently used by detractors, such as our friend Ben Shapiro, to discredit the art form as a whole. Many fans have claimed that the quotes were taken out of context, but others insist that Eilish is a hypocrite, especially since she admitted in the very same interview that not all of her songs are based on real personal experiences. Number 2. Kendall and Kylie Jenner. The Jenners and Kardashians are no strangers to hip-hop. Kim Kardashian is famously married to rapper Kanye West, and most recently, Kylie Jenner has been involved in a highly publicized relationship with Travis Scott, and before that she even dated Tyga. With that in mind, you would think that they would be in tune with hip-hop culture, and understand the sensitivity of certain subjects. Unfortunately, you would be wrong. Back in 2017, Kendall and Kylie found themselves at the center of some backlash after their clothing brand, Kendall and Kylie, released shirts featuring photos of the sisters superimposed over portraits of the late Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. And if you thought that was bad, you'll be appalled to find out they initially listed these shirts for sale at a whopping $125. Yikes. Fans across the world instantly took offense at the shirts, citing exploitation of the rapper's legacy as a way to make a quick buck. The drama only intensified when Voletta Wallace, Biggie Smalls' own mother, jumped in to reveal that the images were used without the knowledge or permission of the Wallace's estate. The sisters quickly weighed in on the situation by pulling the shirts from their website, effectively stopping them from being sold. They went on to release an apology on social media, stating they, quote, "will use this as an opportunity to learn from these mistakes." I guess we can be glad they pulled the shirts so quickly, but still, I want to know who gave these things the green light, and who designed them in the first place. And finally, at number 1, we have the Grammys. Though this entry isn't about one specific person, it made the list because its disrespect for hip-hop has been long-running and overreaching. The Grammys are an award show regulated by the Recording Academy to recognize achievement in music. The Grammys have not quite excluded rappers from their event. Rap does have its own category, and rap artists have even regularly asked to perform at the event. However, the Grammys has a long history with snubbing rappers, and specifically black artists. That has repeatedly brought it under fire. Steve Knopper of Rolling Stone magazine asserts that the Academy, which is the voting body for the awards, is composed of mainly older, conservative white men, which skews the voting process. A quick look at the statistics makes it easy to see why. In the 62 years that the Grammys have existed, only 2 true rap albums have ever won Album of the Year: Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill in 1999, and Outkast's Speakerboxx Love Below in 2004. A black artist hasn't won Artist of the Year in 12 years. Hip-hop albums are routinely left out of nominations for the 4 most prestigious awards, including Album of the Year, instead relegating to specific categories that label the music as urban. While some artists like Diddy have been longtime critics of the Grammys, in recent years, prominent artists like Kendrick Lamar, Frank Ocean, and even Drake have spoken out against the Academy. Famously, Drake boycotted the Grammys in 2017 after One Dance was not nominated for Record of the Year, even though Hotline Bling was nominated for Best Rap Record, despite it having no rap verses. This, coupled with a 2020 scandal that accused the Academy of vote manipulation, point to one very clear truth: the Grammys need to make changes if they want to continue being relevant. So, did anyone on this list surprise you? Do you think hip-hop gets too much flack as a genre? Let me know in the comments section. And before you leave, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel.